Hi, I'm Robert Rydell. I'm an artist. I've always made art ever since I was a kid. Of course, I started with color crayons and markers and stuff like any other kid. I don't think I really drew any better than any of the other kids. Of course, my parents would tell you different. They'd say I drew the best out of all the kids, but I don't feel like I really drew better than any of the other kids or colored any better than them. But I did notice that I seemed to care about it a little bit more. If my colorings didn't come out the way I wanted them to, I would get frustrated. And it seemed like the other kids didn't seem to care. They would just sort of scribble all over it and make whatever they made, and they were happy with it. But if my drawing didn't turn out how I wanted it to, I was kind of frustrated. So take it or leave it, I guess that's the making of an artist, being obsessed with getting something exactly how you want it. I have been a professional artist for probably about 10 years now, but I've only really been making money at it for about the last 4 or 5 years. Before I was an artist, I did landscaping and construction. My first job was dishwashing. I worked in lots of restaurants, dishwashing, waiting tables, cooking. I think I did every restaurant job. I worked at many pizza parlors, delivery boy, pizza maker. I worked every job that you could have at a pizza parlor. I did landscaping, construction, did a little bit of carpentry. That was probably the last job that I enjoyed the most. I really liked construction. I didn't mind it at all. I liked the labor, outdoors. It felt creative. Working in concrete felt very creative. You're building these forms out of wood, and you're using tie wire to hold the rebar into place, and then you're filling those forms with concrete. It's kind of like sculpting in a way. And so I really enjoyed that. I did that for about a year or two. While I was doing that, I started painting murals for like extra money on the side, and I started painting portraits of people's loved ones and their pets. Slowly but surely, I started to make as much money doing that as I did doing construction. Still not a lot of money, but it was as much as I was making at my job, and without any of the danger. I had a few mishaps doing construction. I had one occasion where a piece of machinery fell off of a truck and almost landed on me, and that was pretty scary. I decided to veer away from it and lean in to my talent that I had developed, and it was the best decision I ever made. I don't advise everybody who's an artist for fun to become an artist for a living. I don't think it is for everybody, and it wasn't for me for the whole first part of my life. I couldn't do it. It wasn't until I had gone to school and gotten jobs. I had 3 different majors in college. I majored in fine art, was the first one. I got a 2-year degree in art, and I had convinced myself that there wasn't any money in it, that it was a waste of time, and I was never going to be able to make any good money doing art. So I switched my degree to math because I thought maybe I would be an engineer. I ended up getting 2 more 2-year degrees, one in math and one in physics. So I ended up graduating from a junior college with 3 associate's degrees, one in math, one in physics, and one in art, and then I never transferred. I never transferred to a bigger college. It just seemed like too much money to me, and I didn't have any scholarships. I probably could have gotten some, but I didn't know how to do any of that. I wasn't very good at doing that stuff, filling out paperwork and going through the rigmarole and begging some company to give me money to go to school, telling them what a great engineer I was going to be. My heart wasn't in it. So that's when I decided to take my diplomas and not continue college, and I basically made my summer landscaping job my full-time job, and then I got a job doing construction, and it was there that I really learned how to work hard. And the first professional artwork I started to create was while I worked at that job doing construction, and I actually kind of copied my foreman's job bids. I kind of saw the owner of the construction company and the foreman working together on bidding out jobs for various construction jobs, and I kind of watched over their shoulder and took a few mental notes, kind of copied that in creating my invoices for my mural jobs. Equipment needed to be purchased. There was a timetable when they needed to be completed. Most of my murals were for businesses and things like that. So when I finally leaned into my art career and started doing it full-time professionally, I had really leaned into the professional side of it. And that's very important if you're an artist and you want to make a living doing your art. Is if you just want to do art for the love, that's fine. You can do that for your whole life. Because when you become an artist for a living, essentially what you're becoming is a small business owner. And small business owners have to do business and they have to kind of enjoy it. If they don't kind of enjoy problem solving and crunching numbers and getting costs down and all that stuff, then it's not going to be for you. After I had some practice doing some murals and doing some commission pieces, we moved from California to Florida, and I had only been making money off of my art for maybe a year or two, and so I wasn't very confident in pulling that off in Florida in a new place where I didn't know anybody. But I had some kind of brochures for doing murals, and I was dedicated to painting murals for a living, but I still brought all my tools. I brought all my construction tools, I brought my bags and everything, so just in case I needed to get a construction job, I would. But Susie convinced me not to apply and not to get a construction job, that I should just find murals and I should just do mural work. So I started walking all around St. Pete, Florida, trying to find somebody to hire me to do a mural, which is a great place to be a mural artist. It's awesome. There's a lot of mural artists there, and some of them are really good. It was actually a little intimidating, you know? And while I was looking for mural work, I found a place called Painting with a Twist, and it was really cool. It was the first time I had ever seen it, and it was essentially people would go, pay, and they would bring their own wine or beer and snacks, and they would paint while they drank, and they had a live instructor, a painting instructor. These people didn't know how to paint. They had never painted before in their life sometimes, but they could be kind of walked through these, you know, simple for an artist, but not so simple for people who didn't do art. There was a method to teaching it. You could teach it in layers, kind of like Bob Ross would teach those paintings. And I did that with Painting with a Twist for a year, and then I actually moved up into management. I actually managed their Pinellas Park studio for another year. So I did that for 2 years while I was still painting murals and painting commission work on the side, living in Florida. And that's where I found the Arts Village in Pinellas Park. And there I got my studio, and I had my studio there for probably about 4 or 5 years. And so that 5 years at that studio, getting to know the artists there, getting to know the other local artists in St. Pete, some of the mural artists, that camaraderie, bouncing ideas off of each other. I made a few really awesome, great friendships there, and some of these artists had been doing it for longer than I had, and they really showed me that it could be done, and made it into a legitimate business. So I quit working at Painting with a Twist, and I finally dedicated myself 100% to just making art for a living. And that's when I started really being able to bring in some okay money, and it was stable, and I started having a lot of shows. I started creating a lot of artwork, my portfolio just started filling up because there was no going back from that point. Please check out my website. It's rydelgallery.com, and on there you can just take a look at my artwork, enjoy it for yourself. There's a shop on there where you can buy signed prints. There are these pretty nicely done prints on canvas of my original paintings. They're stretched on canvas, and I think they're really good quality. And I sign all of them, and I wrap them in protective plastic, and I ship them out to you. And I think I'm selling them on there for about $38. So if you care to support me as an artist and you like what you see on my website, and you like my artwork, I would love to sign and ship you out a print or two. Also on that website is my comic book, Hugo and Knox. It's written and illustrated by me. I'm really pleased with the way this issue turned out. So if you like comics and you care to read an original comic book written and illustrated by somebody you know, I will also sign and wrap in plastic my new original comic book and ship it out to you as well. I think issue 2 is going for $18. Issue 1 is $13, and you can get both of them with 10% off. Thanks again, and talk to you later.